for AK Racing Miami Bayside. And we fucked the start by clicking drive. That's alright. Let's see if we can't salvage something here. Alright, seems to have been a clean start up the front. Oh, a little bit of biffo back in the mid pack there. Let's see if we can't catch some of that. Yeah, doing something further down the field. There's no cars coming through there. Might even be a safety car. Back at the front of the field, Chris Munro's coming under a lot of pressure there from Phil Reed. The field slowly starting to catch back up. Let's jump on board with Connor Bell, seem to be in the middle of a battle there. Up to the end of the first lap. You can see there's a lot of undulations on this straight circuit. I don't think there's a lot of elevation change, but it's a very tricky track to drive. A lot of bumps, minor undulations, somewhat blind corners. Getting the flow around here is very tricky. Some lows, there's two drivers have had enough. Not sure if that was Simmons into the fence in the background. Bright yellow car. No, I don't think it was Simmons. Alright, here we go. We have the timing tower, we have the power. Up at the front, Munro still ahead of Reed. Cotter with O'Reilly not far behind in fourth. And there's a bit of a gap back to Tyler Craig and Ferguson. Tyler Craig doing well early on. I'm not sure where he qualified. I know he wasn't a fan of the track, but 5th place, looking good. And Ferguson has been very good all season. He's been around for a while, and I think he's made a big step up possibly. It's good to see anyway. Lachlan Nichols possibly. Back in here with Hum. Whoa. Beat there, Nichols in front of Bells, missed it too, and it's a good move by Vanderham. Up into P9. It's a short 16 lap sprint the first race, and I believe the second race is approximately twice the distance, and the starting order will be set from the result of this race. I'm not expecting any pit stops in the first race. Riding on board Connor Bell behind Vanderham in 9th place, Connor Bell sitting in 10th. Just a little unsettled as he came off the curb there, small amount of counter steer. This double hairpin looks very tricky to lead back onto the start-finish straight. You have to compromise the first hairpin a little by the looks of things so you can get a good run onto the straight, which, judging by how Vanderham's pulling away, he may have not judged correctly. It's a pretty fast circuit there. The speed cup's saying 273 kilometres Connor Bell's hitting. Jump on board Vanderham now as he catches up to Albertsma. He's new this season. Don't know much about him, but he's seemed pretty quick in qualifying. I'm not sure where he's placed in the races. I think he might have been involved in a few little incidents. Apologies if I've got that incorrect. Apologies to the guys at the back. I'm not sure why my timing tower is only showing the top 10 guys. I had trouble in quali too. It's a stream that I didn't commentate. Just a little test session for me basically. Yeah, I'd love to be able to see what's going on further back down the field. Hopefully they pop on in the next lap or two. You know, it's been a bit cleaner than I thought it might have been. I was a bit worried given the chaff in the last fortnights. The field is spreading out a bit. On to the 5th lap of this short 16 lap sprint race. Line that chicane beautifully. The shocks set up well on this car, seem to take the chicane quite nicely. Very aggressive line there by Hum. Oh no, Potter's just had an off. He's dropped the place there to O'Reilly. He's quite close to Reed ahead. Munro seems to be gapping the rest of the guys slightly. O'Reilly's fourth in the championship. It's definitely up there. I can't see Richards on my timing tower. So that's Richards behind Taylor Simmons. Looks like they're just coming on for the 5th lap. Yep, there's the pit stop there through the first chicane. Whoa, Simmons has had a big moment and oh no, he's taken Richards with him. It's very unfortunate. Oh, I won't be happy about that. I think our depth of field effect is a bit off there. Simmons just waiting for Richards, doing the gentlemanly thing. Very nice to see. That's going to have dropped them pretty much to the back of the pack, I would have thought. Jump on board Josh Hughes. Yeah, he's the only member left in Team Josh, now that I'm giving the V8 Corsa mod away, sadly. But looking forward to doing some better commentary than leaving all that info on the screen going forward. Whoa, he's just made that, and he's got Richards behind him. I think he somehow got caught up in that Josh Hughes. He must be a ways off the pack. Jump on board Richards. Let's see if that is him. No, it must be Richards' teammate. Very similar livery. Oh. Number 45, Autumn. Oh! And that's a bit ordinary, I'm sorry to say, for my teammate. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but Autumn won't be very happy about that. Josh has lost a bunch of places there too. 3 guys have managed to come through there. Whoa! Was that Fergo coming into the pits? And this is very interesting. You've got Vanderham still behind Albertsma, and Connor Bell still trailing them. Up the front, you've still got Munro leading with a reasonable gap to Reid. O'Reilly still in 3rd after having gotten a place from Cotter with his mistake. He's holding 4th easily. Tyler Craig still excellent 5th place, 15 seconds off the leader. Scuzzy there down in 6th, not too far off Tyler Craig, maybe hoping for a mistake as the tyres start to wear. This would be about when the tyres start to go on a track like this. There's a lot of corners. It's quite a long track. With a few laps I've done here, way too many corners to remember. There's a lot of practice around here to get the flow right. Corners lead on to one another, like a double corner there where you need to compromise your first corner slightly so you can get a better exit out of that second corner onto the straight. Whoa! Oh, no. Pit stop. And he's come in too quick. He's got a drive through for speeding. I don't know if these guys are coming in for tyres. There's a couple of guys now that have stopped. It's possible it was cut penalty, but they seem to be stopping in their box. Penalties are normally just a drive-through unless you've done something severely wrong. Reid has dropped down to 9th from 4th place. So he's had another moment somewhere we've missed. He's behind Connor Bell. And Vanderham's been promoted because of that stop by Albertsma. And it's Scuzzy here. It's closed the gap a little to Tyler Craig, I feel. It was just over 2 seconds. It's down to 1.5 seconds. Barring any incidents, the podium is pretty much decided. Cotter has closed up on O'Reilly, dropped off a bit from Munro. He might have had a mistake. And O'Reilly's coming into the pits too. I'm very confused as to what's going on in this race. Is there a compulsory stop? People not put enough fuel in by accident? There's been an awful lot of pit stops. Everyone's in the pits, lap 9. Tyler Craig, Vanderham, Connor Bell, Lachlan Nichols. No, they're all exiting the pits. I'm thinking there must have been a compulsory pit stop. I'll certainly spice things up a little. Vanderham's still ahead of Cordham. I think he's jumped Albertsma in that pit stop. The way my timing tower's been, I wouldn't say that just yet. Oh yes, because Albertsma had the drive-through, which is just flashed up on the screen for speeding into the pits. It'll be interesting to see if when Scuzzy, Cotter and Munro pit, and Fergo, the top 4 still haven't pitted yet. Taylor Simmons has been given the drive-through for cutting on a straight circuit. That is not sure where the cuts are, but that seems to be quite an achievement. Yeah, Monroe, Cotter, Cicluna, all into the pits. And Ferguson. So there must have been a compulsory pit stop. So we have Cotter, just coming out ahead of O'Reilly, who's getting a bit eager, trying to grab the position. Almost lost it there. Very tail happy. And O'Reilly is trying to bump his way past, but he's found himself on the wrong side there. Thought he might have had Cotter there. It looks like the outside line does have a fair bit of grip there. Very good driving standards being displayed here between the two of them. Cold tyres still probably. You can see how just one tiny little mistake, not quite getting wide enough on the entry, compromised his corner, and he's gone and shed a whole second on that one corner pretty much. Just another small mistake up onto the curbing, kicked the rear end out into the wall. I think on the damage settings we run 65%, that probably won't make too much difference, but it's certainly cost him almost another second there. And I think Scuzzy's made a move on Tyler Craig. And we've got Reed right behind Tyler Craig now too. And back through the field after whatever happened to him. Very aggressive over the curves. Certainly costing a little bit of time initially, but not too much running wide there. So we're on like 11 of 16, 5 laps to go after this. Run a bit too hot into that corner. Reed will be hounding him now. He's a left-hander, but he's going to pull in behind. Smart, very smart of Reed there. Might be so fine at the next corner. Yes, he's got it. Very good clean move there by Reed. Tyler Craig might be on the lights there a bit. That was really on him. No point flashing the guy ahead because you've made a mistake, buddy. Head down. Try and stay with him. See if you can return the favour. Further down the field, we can see the gaps are quite spread. We've still got O'Reilly here. Right behind Cotter, he's closed the gap after his few moments. It's a lovely looking track, this Miami Bayside. I believe it's a fictional race circuit, but based on the real world streets. Might have been borrowed from another title. Despite the slightly negative chat during the fortnight about the track, I think it's provided some really good racing. I hope the drivers out there are enjoying it. Once you've memorised it, the flow seems quite nice on the track. Fair few opportunities for overtakes. Reed's closed the gap up to Scuzzy. They're coming on to their 13th lap. And it'll be 4 laps to go. And see, they're both lapping in the 157s. A lot of guys putting in purple laps. We've got Ferguson coming up on Jim Park. I was just wondering if lapped cars would start to play a role at all. Looks like the leaders must have already been by a couple of lapped guys. Very nicely done there by Mr. Park. Brakes on the corner exit stayed tight and exactly how you should let the quick guys by. Well done, mate. Sakuna's having an excellent season. I was just saying that Taylor Simmons has been disqualified for not taking a drive-through. I mustn't have seen that drive-through he had to cut him. Loose on the rear there for Reid. I don't know if the tyres be going off already. I feel he did have one of the earlier pit stops, so yeah, it's possible they're just starting to go. I was just wondering who was going to take 4th place, but saying that, I think the money would be on Scuzzy to take 4th. Look at that one, 57.1 did I say, another personal best for him. Yeah, the Fergo is probably too far behind Tyler Craig, barring a reasonable mistake for him to get another position. But he's driving very quickly towards the end of this race. Let's just have a look at what's happening down the field. It looks like we have Lachlan Nichols in 11th, a lap down. Van Wingard 12th, a lap down. Cortum 2 laps down. Josh Hughes 2 laps down. Muffy Richards 2 laps down. Simmons has just been disqualified for 16th. McFarlane might still be running. Yeah, we've got Matthew Richards still circulating. So it's been a bit scrappy down the back of the field, unfortunately. Unlucky that those guys didn't get a safety car or anything until the Loudon goes back up. And we've got Connor Bell right behind Lachlan Nichols, his ex-teammate. I'm not sure if they're in a team together this year. I'm not sure if Bell's had a mistake, and I can see the rest of the timing. I'm not getting it all. It must be a setting. I just got to click down through it to get all the guys. Well, that is hugely annoying and something we most definitely need to rectify in my next stream. This is a good little battle down here. And further down, I feel no, there's not really any battles. Let's jump on board Connor Bell. Let's see what happens with Nichols. Having a look at the timing up the front, O'Reilly's dropped a little back off Cotter maybe. So I don't think the podium's going to change in the final 2 laps. We'll lock up there for Connor Bell. He's got a good exit. Lachlan Nichols is driving pretty clean ahead, taking the pressure well, not making any mistakes. Alright, well he might have got a bit much of the curb there on the exit, and just kept the power down well. You see the car really seems to be running quite a soft set up the way it seems to be bouncing around. It seems to be working well for him. There's a bit of loose lip discussion in the chat earlier. I think somebody else's setup might have been leaked, which looked very stiff to me, almost ridiculously stiff. I wondered if it wasn't a joke, the setup that was posted, to be honest. I don't think Nichols has gone a similar style setup. We're on the final lap now. Oh, Reid. They've just had a move on Stuzzy, but he's lost it. And Jay McFarlane, the wild card for this round. Unfortunately, receives the drive through for cutting, which is served. Chris Munro be very happy with this. He's led from the get-go, qualifying first, a well-deserved victory. I'm not sure how the points will work out for the sprint race versus the longer race, but that might put him in the lead of the championship. I know he's right up there. Actually, no, I think Fortin, who's not racing tonight, is currently in second, just behind Phil Reid. It'll certainly close the gap up for him. We still have Nichols ahead of Connor Bell. I've just lapped Jim Park. Van Ringard 12th. Bottom 13th. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he won't be happy with that. It's a disappointing result for him. Matthew Richards 14th. It's probably one of his worst results this season. He's going to get involved in Simmons incident and maybe some other stuff early on. Josh Hughes struggled this season. 15th is not too bad a result for him. Everybody else has already been lapped so many times they've finished. Well,